Listen to that. I should have bought a lottery ticket.
Just what you've been waiting for. Movies, TV, music, and more. Follow, subscribe, stay up to date. Episodes drop every other Monday. It's the man, it's the man, watch that. It's the man, it's the man, watch that. It's the man, it's the man, watch that podcast.
Welcome to the Matt Watch That podcast, the place for reviews, rants, and randomness. I'm your host, Matt Seroski, filmmaker, film fan. Each episode, I'm going to watch a movie or TV pilot that I probably should have seen but never got around to. It could be a recent favorite, critic's choice, or cult classic. To join in on the conversation, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Matt Seroski. You can subscribe to my YouTube page where I'll post videos and clips from the show. If you have any opinions on what I've discussed, or suggestions as to what I should see next, use the hashtag MattWatchThat on social. Before we start, as frequent listeners of this podcast will know, I'm a New York Mets fan, and I want to take a walk back into the Matt Watch That flashback time machine. This is what I said in episode 8 of the Matt Watch That podcast. So my predictions this season, the Mets are going to be a second-place team in the division. They'll get in on the wild card. They'll finish with 86 wins, 76 losses. I think last year was a flash in the pan. The stars aligned. Something magical happened. I don't think they're going to be able to replicate that. And they'll go out in the first round of the playoffs. I hope I'm wrong. Listen to that. I should have bought a lottery ticket. In fact, I gave my boys a little too much credit. I thought they were going to make the playoffs, especially with the expanded playoffs in the MLB. How could you miss out? But if anyone can do it, you can guarantee it'll be the Mets. Now, I'm not going to be so bold and make predictions of next season, but I have a strange suspicion that Pete Alonso will be back. I don't know how they can replace his production, but they are definitely going to shift some things. I do see them getting a frontline starter, not someone like Tarek Skubal, maybe more on the lines of Sandy Alcantara. So what are some of your predictions for next season? But since we're talking about baseball, Netflix just released a documentary called Who Killed the Montreal Expos? I haven't seen it yet, but if you've never heard anything about the Montreal Expos, the ownership group, MLB's involvement, and how they ended up moving to Washington to become the Nationals, it is truly a fascinating story. I do hope that the Expos become one of the expansion teams in the future. The city and the fans deserve it. On to the main attraction. Each review will end with a ranking out of 5 stars. 1 star is skip it, 2 stars watch at your own risk, 3 stars standard fare, 4 stars worth checking out, and 5 stars must see. Now, if I give a title 5 stars, it doesn't mean I'm comparing it to Casablanca, Jaws, or Seinfeld. I rank titles based on other movies or TV series in that genre and at that time period. On this episode of the podcast, I'll be reviewing The Right Stuff from 1983. It was written and directed by Philip Kaufman, who helmed horror remake Invasion of the Body Snatchers, coming-of-age film The Wanderers, and police procedural Rising Sun. He was nominated for Best Writing, Screenplay based on material from another medium, for The Unbearable Lightness of Being. It was based on the novel by Tom Wolfe. The Right Stuff features an ensemble cast that would go on to have a varied and accomplished careers. It stars Sam Shepard as Chuck Yeager. The celebrated playwright and actor was known for works like True West and Buried Child, the latter of which won him a Pulitzer Prize. His prolific career includes Paris, Texas, The Pelican Brief, and Black Hawk Down. He earned critical acclaim for his work in Mud and on the series Bloodline. Scott Glenn portrays Alan Shepard. After appearing in Nashville and Urban Cowboy, his breakout role was in The Right Stuff. His career continued to evolve with prominent roles in The Hunt for Red October and The Silence of the Lambs, where he played the pivotal part of Jack Crawford. He ventured into television with a significant role in The Leftovers, and joined the Marvel Universe with Daredevil and The Defenders. He received an Emmy nomination for his work on The White Lotus. Ed Harris as John Glenn already established himself as a versatile actor in films like Knight Riders and Creepshow, but gained further recognition with performances in films like The Abyss, Glengarry Glen Ross, Apollo 13, and The Truman Show. He earned an Academy Award nomination for Pollock, which he also directed. Dennis Quaid played Gordon Cooper. His breakthrough role was in the coming-of-age drama Breaking Away, and would go on to star in sequel Jaws 3D. He became a reliable leading man of the 80s and 90s with Enemy Mine, The Big Easy, Great Balls of Fire, and The Parent Trap. He received a Golden Globe Award nomination for Far From Heaven, and an Emmy, Golden Globe, and Screen Actors Award nominations for portraying Bill Clinton in the HBO film The Special Relationship. The Right Stuff also features Fred Ward, Barbara Hershey, Veronica Cartwright, and Lance Henriksen. This is something to look out for. Levon Helm, drummer for the music group The Band, plays Jack Ridley. He shows off his stick-twirling skills after he cuts a broom handle. So let's jump into it. The story begins with Chuck Yeager, a fearless and cocky test pilot who becomes the first man to break the sound barrier in 1947. Yeager's feat, while groundbreaking, is largely overshadowed by the growing space race. The film then shifts to the formation of Project Mercury in the late 1950s, where 7 pilots, among them Alan Shepard, Gus Grissom, and John Glenn, are chosen to be the first American astronauts. These men are celebrated for their bravery and exceptional skills, but they also face immense pressure, personal sacrifice, and the grueling demands of the space program. As Project Mercury progresses, the astronauts are subject to the physical, mental, and emotional challenges of training and space missions. Their public image is shaped by the media, which elevates them to heroic status, while behind the scenes, their personal lives and relationships are tested by the rigorous demands of their careers. The film explores the tension between their desire for glory, the American need for technological supremacy, and the toll it takes on their humanity. Here's a quote without context. "I'm a fearless man, but I'm scared to death of you." The Right Stuff stands out as one of the most ambitious and thought-provoking films ever made about the U.S. space program. It explores the myth-making surrounding the early days of NASA and the complex human drama behind the heroic feats of the first American astronauts. At its core, The Right Stuff is not just about the technical achievements of space exploration, but about the intersection of individual ambition, national pride, and the evolving definition of heroism during the Cold War era. The space program, much like the military, is a system that demands conformity, precision, and discipline, but it also requires the spirit of individual daring. The Mercury astronauts, chosen for their unique skill and personalities, are nonetheless molded into a cohesive group, subjected to the scrutiny of both the public and NASA's bureaucratic machinery. Set against the backdrop of the Cold War, The Right Stuff can be seen as a cinematic reflection on how space exploration became a key battleground in the ideological struggle between the United States and the Soviet Union. It is both a celebration of American achievement and a critique of the ways in which that achievement is often distorted by the demands of the larger system. Now for a little trivial trivia. Actor, comedian, and talk show host Kevin Pollak provided the voice of President Dwight D. Eisenhower. The Right Stuff was produced by The Ladd Company and Chardoff Winkler Productions, and distributed by Warner Brothers. It was filmed at Edwards Air Force Base, Cow Palace, Mojave Desert, and NASA Ames Research Center, all in California. The cinematography was captured by Caleb Deschanel, whose filmography includes family adventure The Black Stallion, mystery National Treasure, and conspiracy thriller Jack Reacher. He's been nominated for 6 Academy Awards for Best Achievement in Cinematography for The Natural, Fly Away Home, The Patriot, The Passion of the Christ, Never Look Away, and this movie. It was edited by the team of Glenn Farr, Lisa Fruchtman, Stephen A. Rotter, Douglas Stewart, and Tom Rolfe. The score was composed by Bill Conti, who wrote the music for boxing drama Rocky, war satire Private Benjamin, spy adventure For Your Eyes Only, and teen sports drama The Karate Kid. He won an Academy Award for Best Music Original Score for this movie. The soundtrack featured songs by Little Richard, Chubby Checker, the Everly Brothers, and the Flamingos. The runtime is 3 hours, 12 minutes. Ugh. It had a budget of $27 million and grossed $21 million at the box office. It was nominated for 8 Oscars at the 1984 Academy Awards, winning 4 for Best Sound, Film Editing, Effects, Special Effects Editing, and Best Music Original Score. On the SPE Index, I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think I've been waiting 5 seasons to see this film, and it didn't disappoint per se, but it's way too long, so if you have more patience, add a half a star. If you've seen The Right Stuff and have opinions on the movie, let me know what you think using the hashtag #MattWatchThat. Moving right along, each episode, I'm going to post clips that I think people should watch. It could be movie trailers, music videos, interviews, or something completely random. Search for my YouTube page and there'll be a playlist called Matt Watch That Playback. Garbage is a genre-defying rock band that rose to prominence in the mid-90s, blending elements of alternative rock, industrial, electronic, and pop music. Known for their unique sound, rebellious spirit, and powerful female-fronted presence, the band became one of the most influential acts whose music reflects an eclectic, cutting-edge approach to modern rock. Garbage was formed in 1993 in Madison, Wisconsin, by Butch Vig, a renowned producer best known for his work on Nirvana's Nevermind and Smashing Pumpkins' Siamese Dream. Vig teamed up with former bandmates from Spooner, Duke Erickson, and Firetown, Steve Marker, to form Garbage. In search for a female vocalist, they recruited Scottish singer Shirley Manson from the band Angelfish. Garbage's self-titled debut album was released in 1995 and quickly became a hit. The album received widespread acclaim for its innovative sound that combined elements of grunge, industrial, electronic, and pop. Songs like Vow, Stupid Girl, and Only Happy When It Rains became anthems of angst and rebellion, while Manson's sultry and aggressive vocal delivery captivated listeners. After the success of their debut album, Garbage took some time to refine their sound and approach, returning to the studio in 1997 to work on their second album, Version 2.0. The album was released in 1997 and proved to be a massive commercial and critical success, cementing the band's place in rock history. Version 2.0 showed a shift toward a more polished, radio-friendly production, while retaining the edgy, experimental approach the band was known for. The album was a critical triumph and spawned several major hits, including Push It, I Think I'm Paranoid, and When I Grow Up. Garbage returned in 2001 with their third album, Beautiful Garbage. It marked a departure from their earlier, more guitar-heavy sound, embracing a more electronic, polished pop style, with influences from disco, new wave, and electro-pop. While it received mixed reviews at the time of its release, many later praised Beautiful Garbage for its experimental and daring shift in sound. Garbage faced some challenges, both creatively and personally. As a result, they entered a period of relative silence, with each member pursuing individual projects. In 2005, Garbage returned with their long-awaited fourth album, Bleed Like Me. It marked a return to their grunge and alt-rock roots, with a harder sound that was compared to their earlier material. Bleed Like Me also featured a more stripped-back production style, with songs like Why Do You Love Me and Bleed Like Me showing a band that was willing to confront personal and emotional turmoil head-on. The album was well received by fans, but didn't achieve the same commercial success as their earlier works. Nevertheless, Bleed Like Me solidified the band's reputation for remaining true to their artistic integrity, despite the pressures of the industry. Garbage went on a break after Bleed Like Me. Despite the hiatus, the band stayed connected with their fan base through social media and occasional live performances. In 2012, Garbage announced that they would be returning to the studio to work on a new album. The resulting effort, Not Your Kind of People, was released after a 7-year break and marked the band's return to the spotlight. The album was positively received, with songs like Blood for Poppies and Bright Big World reaffirming Garbage's place in the alternative and indie rock landscape. Following their 2012 comeback, Garbage continued to refine their sound with Strange Little Birds, which further explored a darker, moodier sound. In 2021, Garbage released their highly anticipated 7th studio album, No Gods, No Masters, which continued the band's trajectory of blending electronic, alt-rock, and industrial influences, while incorporating political and social themes. Their latest, Let All That We Imagined Be the Light, was released in May 2025. Garbage remains one of the most innovative and enduring bands in rock music. From their explosive debut in the 90s to their genre-bending experiments of the 2000s and beyond, they've always pushed the boundaries of what alternative music can be. With their fearless attitude, powerful performances, and constant reinvention, Garbage has created a catalog of songs that have left a lasting mark on modern rock music and continue to influence new generations of artists. I've selected a couple of clips from their biggest songs. They're all available in the Matt Watch That playback playlist on YouTube. Check it out. Now it's time for the recommendation. Yes, that's the word recommendation with Matt in the middle. I'm going to end each podcast with my own recommendation of a movie or TV series. Today I'm talking about Spin City. The political satire sitcom tells the story of Mike Flaherty, a witty and often scrappy political aide who serves as the deputy mayor of New York. Mike is the pragmatic, fast-talking fixer responsible for managing the public image of Mayor Randall Winston, a well-meaning but inept and often clueless leader. The show focuses on Mike's effort to deal with the mayor's gaffes and missteps while trying to keep the office running smoothly. It stars Michael J. Fox, Richard Kind, Alan Ruck, Michael Boatman, and Barry Bostwick. It also features Connie Britton, Alexander Chaplin, Jennifer Esposito, and Victoria Dillard. In later seasons, Heather Locklear and Charlie Sheen join the cast. The show was created by Gary David Goldberg, who created Family Ties and Brooklyn Bridge, and Bill Lawrence, who created Scrubs and co-created Cougar Town, Ted Lasso, and Shrinking. Spin City blended political humor with traditional sitcom antics, offering a behind-the-scenes look at the world of government in an exaggerated, comedic light. The show's tone is lighthearted, but often touched on real political issues, providing satire of the machinations of local government, the media, and the public's often misguided perceptions of politics. The humor was character-driven, with witty banter, physical comedy, and zany situations. When Fox publicly revealed he had Parkinson's disease, he departed from the series. In response to Fox's health issues, the show wrote out his character in a storyline where Mike leaves for a new job in the private sector. In the final seasons, Charlie Crawford, played by Charlie Sheen, replaces Mike Flaherty as the deputy mayor. Charlie was a more flamboyant and less idealistic character, and his personality shifted the dynamic of the show. Despite this change, Spin City continued for another season with Sheen before it was ultimately canceled in 2002. Spin City was a unique blend of political satire and traditional sitcom elements, with Michael J. Fox's charismatic performance as the show's heart. The series' clever dialogue, memorable characters, and exploration of the chaos behind the polished world of politics made it an engaging watch. Although the departure of Fox and the shift in cast members affected the series, Spin City remains a beloved part of the 90s and early 2000s television, especially for its take on government, office politics, and human relationships. Spin City was on for 6 seasons, 145 episodes from 1996 to 2002. That's all for this edition of Matt Watch That. Thanks for listening to me babble. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Matt Seroski. You can subscribe to my YouTube page where I'll post videos and clips from the show. If you have any opinions on what I've discussed, or suggestions as to what movie or TV pilot I should see, use the hashtag MattWatchThat on social. Head over to mattseroski.com for all the latest news and updates, and come back next time for the reviews, rants, and randomness. They recruited Scottish singer Shirley Manson from the band Angelfish. Fitch. You dope. He received an Emmy nomination for his work on The Lotus White. No. Ed Harris as Jean Valjean.